Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Hello, 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 hello. Hello. How are you guys doing tonight? I was just listening to a little Janis Joplin, Me and Bobby McGee, which if you watch the documentary Little Girl Lost, that song did not actually come out until after she passed away. Did you know that? I didn't know that until I watched that documentary, which is probably one of the best documentaries I have ever seen in my entire life. But of course, I'm partial to Janis Joplin, so her story is so tragic. But I love her, and I love her music. But I was thinking about that line in the song, I'd trade all my tomorrows for a single yesterday. And I was thinking about that. I think it's an interesting concept, you know, like, hypothetically speaking, what is going on here with the camera? Come on, hypothetically speaking, would you trade, like, your future if you could go back and fix your past? I don't know, I feel like I've learned so much from my past that it's made me who I am today that I don't know that I would. Well, I guess you'd be, come on camera, it won't just send. Tanya like sat on it the other night and she was like, what is this? And I go, it's for, look at my stupid shirt. It's for my, camera, and I said it works fantastically, and she was like, oh, she's like, that's kind of cool. I was like, I mean, I guess hypothetically, if you were trading your tomorrows for a single yesterday, then you wouldn't be living for much longer, would you? So no, I wouldn't do that. But it's always interesting to me when people say, like, I have no regrets, you know? I guess it's all like in how you look at it. Like, especially regarding my, like, addiction and my recovery, like, I don't regret the choices that I made, because had I not gone through that, I wouldn't have gotten sober, and I wouldn't have anything that I have in my life today, because literally everything that I have, you know, is a direct result of me being sober. I do wish that I had gotten sober earlier. You know, and I feel very blessed that I got sober at 22 and a half, but when I first got sober, I did not feel that way. I felt cheated. I would say for my first year. Like, after that, I didn't feel that way, but I felt like, you know, especially because back then, there weren't that many young people that were getting sober, or at least I didn't know a lot of them, and they, you know, weren't in my area. So most of the people that I was going to meetings with at 22 and a half, or most of the people that I was surrounding myself with, because they would say stick with the winners, and the winners basically being people that are staying consistently sober and are working steps and, you know, have sponsors and working program, things like that. Those people were people that had, you know, 5, 10, 20 plus years, and, you know, they had gotten sober, let's say, at 30 or plus, so they were, you know, in their 30s to 40s to 50s to 60s, and those were the people that I was hanging out with, mostly 40 to 60 year olds, you know? So, and now they're a lot older, you know, but I look up to them as like my elders in recovery that taught me what I needed to know. And today, you know, I mean, I believe that your journey happens the way that it's supposed to in timing, but I didn't feel like that back then. Interesting concept, though, you know, trading your future for your past, I guess. I don't know. It's been a good day today, relaxing day. I was like, I feel like I go to, the Meijer is right there, and I feel like I go to the Meijer like every day. I literally just pulled this lip balm out of here not too long ago, and now it's like gone. Where is it? So we went to dinner at the Cheesecake Factory tonight with Melissa and Jason, and I walked in, and Melissa goes, do you have lip gloss on? And I said, yeah, and she goes, can I have some? And I go, it's in my car. And And she goes, is it in your purse? And I go, you mean my fanny pack? She goes, yeah. Is it in your purse? And I go, yeah. So she walked out to the car with me, and I showed her my mint lip balm with the roller on it. And she goes, oh my God, do you know what I remember? She obviously doesn't watch my vlog. And I said, what? And she said, do you remember those lip balms back in the day that were like a little case and you slid it open? I go, oh my God, the same person that sent me this sent me one of those in root beer. Mr. Pepper or Mrs. Pepper or Mrs. Doctor or something like that. I don't know, Dr. Jones. It was like some knockoff Dr. Pepper name, but it's the same ones they had back in the day. I wonder if you can get those at like Cracker Barrel and stuff. But anyway, she's like, oh my God, I want one of those so bad. I go, well, I've seen them on Amazon. You can get them on Amazon. So anyway, I want to correct something. When I did my vlog the other day, where I was showing the PO stuff, PO unboxing, and I showed the Skittles lip balms that I got, I can't remember who I said gave them to me, but it was Melissa. So I want to correct that. I also gave her a shout out today in my Peter Monn video, because I've been trying to do some shout outs over there. And so I just say a thank you to Melissa on this channel. It was really, really nice of her to, she messaged me and she was like, I just wanted you to know it was me. And somebody else actually messaged me too and was like, it was Melissa that sent you those. So Melissa, thank you so much. I talked to you in a DM, so you know how thankful I am. But anyway, I just wanted to correct that on here. So yeah, so thank you. I have so many lip balms, you guys, I don't even know what to do with them at this point. Today was a good day. I stayed up really late last night, like super late, and watching Netflix. And I slept in today. Alex went out to brunch with his friend, and then he went and took his car in, and we're going to brunch tomorrow. And then he came home while I was like making videos. I feel like this is the only roundabout right here in Indianapolis that anybody actually knows how to drive on. On the north side of Indianapolis, they have them everywhere, and I feel like nobody has any clue how to drive on a roundabout. And yet the city has spent millions and millions and millions of dollars on building these roundabouts, and it takes like a year to build a roundabout, and then it's like, you might as well just have a stop sign because everybody just stops anyway. They don't know what to do with them. And sometimes it's longer than a stop sign. Because then you get the people that do know how to drive on them, and so they just go. And then the other people are just, they sit there because they're so nervous. But anyway, I wonder if they'll start implementing that in like driver's ed and the driver's test, like how to drive on a roundabout. That would be interesting. I didn't even think about that till this moment. So anyway, I filmed a bunch of videos, and Alex was like, do you want to have dinner with Melissa and Jason? He was texting them, and I was like, yeah, sure. So we decided to go and sit outside at Cheesecake Factory tonight. We were there forever, ever. We like closed it down at like 20 after 11. Well, we closed the patio down. It was nice. We had a really good time. It was fun. And I actually looked much cuter than I look right now. I had on like this navy blue like polo shirt. Not polo shirt, but it was like a, you know, a little, you know what I'm saying. Not Polo brand, but whatever. I think I got it at Target. And yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. And then afterwards, we went home and changed. And then we went over to Melissa and Jason. We wanted to be in like comfy clothes. And Jason wanted to show us some stuff that he had been doing in his studio, because he has like a music studio in his basement. So Jason used to be a drummer for a pretty serious band, like back in the when he was in his 20s. And so he has this huge music studio in his basement. And so we were down there. Jason and I had actually talked about like me putting out a few songs. I'm nobody's singer. I mean, I joke about it on my main channel, but like I'm really not, but I just love to sing. And so he was like playing tracks tonight, and he was like letting me sing to like Rock On, Gold Dust Woman and stuff like that. If you want to see it, Alex caught it on Instagram and put it on his Instagram. So it's over there, you can see it, in all my glory. And we just sat, it was fun. We just sat in the basement forever. And then Alex and Jason were doing some like electronic dance music stuff, like mixing that, because Jason is real into that, and of course Alex is too. So Jason was showing Alex some of the things that he was mixing and whatever. So I went upstairs and was sitting with Melissa and the dogs, and I was looking on Instagram. You guys, have you seen those boxes of roses, those eternity roses? Those are so cool, okay? And I'm not a person, like, I do not love roses. But they are, I don't hate them, but I don't love them. They're not like my favorite flower or anything. But I think those eternity roses are so beautiful. I would love to get a box of those roses. I think they're so pretty. I would love to get like a black box with the, like, they have like turquoise blue ones. Okay, they last a year, you guys. So Melissa and I, we went through, their cheapest one they have on there is a single rosebud, and it's $39 for a single rosebud, okay? Talk about expensive. So Melissa and I went through there and we designed a box. It came to $519. You get 49 roses in there, but they last up to a year. So really it would be like, almost kind of like a piece of artwork or something that you would, you know, have in your house or whatever. I don't know. I think they're very, very cool. But I think that's a lot of money. So if you have somebody that sent you one of those, you are very, very lucky. You are very blessed. But they have them in there for like bridesmaids and stuff. And I was telling Melissa, I said, wouldn't that be such a cool like way to like invite your brides, like if you know you have like 6 bridesmaids, and they have like a little box of 4 that are like $149 each, or they have like these single ones that are $39. And the lid, you can get a lid that says, will you be my bridesmaid? And would that not be a cute way if you had like your wedding color? So you can pick like the color of the box, and you can pick the color of the rose. They even have tie-dyed roses. But wouldn't that be so cool to like, say if you, let's just say if your colors were, what were the colors from Steel Magnolias? Blush and bashful, or whatever they're called. Anyway, pink and pink. But, you know, like, let's say if your colors were, like, yellow and blue, right? That you could get, like, a blue box and, like, yellow roses, and then you could send, like, one, just one to each bridesmaid and say, like, will you be my bridesmaid? Will you be my rosemaid? And that's how you would ask them. Wouldn't that be such a cool way to do that? I mean, yeah, it's expensive. It's $39. I just want to say this one thing. Yesterday I was talking about rereading books, and you guys gave me like a lot to think about. Like, I was really thinking a lot about what different people said in there. But one person said maybe people reread books because they can't afford it. I've had this conversation, in all honesty, with people that are avid readers for years and years and years. And I have to say, until I got that comment, I had never ever like even thought about the fact that somebody would read the same book over and over and over again because books, they can't afford a book because books are expensive. And I do understand that books are expensive, right? But so just to help people out there that want to read and they maybe can't afford, because I thought it was actually kind of an interesting point. For those of you out there that want to read that, or want to listen to audiobooks or read ebooks like on your phone or whatever, and you can't afford to go into Barnes & Noble and buy a brand new book, because books are expensive, they really are. Today I was at the Meijer and I wanted to buy, so they're coming out with these Stranger Things books, right? And it's like the prequel to Stranger Things, and they also have one about Max on the Run. I don't know what that is, but that one's cheaper. It's like $13. But I wanted to get, and so anyway, the books at Meijer are cheaper anyway. Let's say if they're like wholesale, like $28, then they're on sale. But I wanted to get this prequel to Stranger Things, but I was like, what if it sucks? Like, what if it's not any good, right? And then I spent all this money. $21. I mean, that is a lot of money for a book, you know? For a book that nobody knows anything about, and it's all just because of this TV show. So, you know, I understand that books are expensive. So let me give you guys some hints. First of all, Thrift Books, the website, is a really good website to go to buy cheap books. You can usually find really, really cheap books on there, and the shipping and handling is not bad, especially if you order them all together, I think. They may ship free some places. The other thing is Goodwills, charity shops, and thrift stores. Charity shops is usually what thrift stores are called in the UK. Now I know that because you guys educated me on that. But, and maybe in Australia too. I don't know what you guys call thrift stores there. But thrift stores in the United States or charity shops in the UK, you know, they have books for really cheap. Like, if you go to Goodwill here, I used to go all the time and do book hauls. They have, like, their YA and children's books are, like, under $1. They're like 50 cents. And then, or something like that. They have like a coding system of how they go up. And they're hardbacks, but no book is over $2.50, okay? And then if you go on a certain day of the month, like, everything is so much off, and then you can also get coupons on there too. So if you just went on a day that, let's say, everything in the whole store was 50% off, and then you also had a coupon for 50% off, I mean, you literally could be getting books for 10 and 20 cents. Like, seriously, no lie. So that would be a good way to do it. The other thing is that libraries are completely free. You don't have to pay anything for a library card. In most places that I'm aware, I've never had to pay for a library card. And if you have a library card, there are also library services like Libby, Overdrive, and there are online apps that you can get on your phone, and then you can listen to, like, audiobooks you can download for free. You can get ebooks for free, and you just check it out, get on a waiting list like you would do. And the only reason I'm saying this is because for people out there that can't afford to spend money on books, because I know that, I mean, this is something that I actually come in contact with. I've never heard somebody say that as a reason for rereading a book, but I did think it was an interesting point. But it is something that comes up in the book club a lot, because people will be like, I can't afford to get this book, but I, wanted to read it for the book club, which is one of the reasons why Mel and I, for the books that we typically pick, we try to always pick books that are A, available everywhere, and B, affordable. So that and give people enough time so that they can put it on their the request list at the library. But, like, Mel requested Zodiac, and it was like 12 weeks out at the library. So, and she was going to listen to it on Audible, on her, what do you call it? On her, like, she uses one of those services. I don't know which one. But there's a lot of different options that you can listen to, or ways to listen to books, or ways to get books and read them. There's a lot of cheap ways. Other thrift stores other than Goodwill, like I know here we have like Thrift World, I think it's called. Their books are literally like 10 and 20 cents. Did it just go foggy on there? I hate when it does that. I'm sorry, you guys. Come on. But their books are like literally, sometimes it goes out and it comes back in. There it goes. Their books are literally like 10 and 20 cents. So, I mean, that's pretty cheap, Yeah. And I think that reading, one of the things I hope is that libraries never cease to exist, and I don't think they will. I mean, we've had libraries for thousands and thousands of years, but I think, maybe not conceptualized the way that we have libraries today. I think it will probably change over time. But, libraries are a really good resource for ways to see things. I mean, the other thing is that they have DVDs at libraries, they have movies, they have programs, for kids, they have reading programs, they have, computers. So, like, if you can't afford a computer, like libraries, all you have to do is have a library card, and you can use all the computers at the library. If you go to the library, I haven't actually been to the library in a while, but if you go on a regular basis, what you'll see is that, like, literally when you walk in, like, at least at my library, every computer is taken. So, I haven't been, today I bought a book, but it was a cheap book. And it was like one of those Go Ask Alice books. I can't remember what it was called. Belinda Says or something. I don't know. But did you ever read Go Ask Alice? It was supposed to be like a diary. There's now like 10 of them out, and they're all about different things. Oh my God, look at McDonald's. It's packed. I wonder if there was a concert and the concert let out. That's usually why it's packed over there. But I did buy this book today, and there was like a bunch of books. So, like, the Reading Rush is coming up on Goodreads, or on, it used to be Booktubeathon, but now it's called Reading Rush, and I'm trying to come up with, like, the most ideal TBR for me to be read, so that, because it's 7 books in 7 days. I know I'm not going to get anywhere near reading 7 books in 7 days, but I'm trying to pick, like, the perfect books for me that I can get really interested into reading, and, so I was, like, looking through it today, and I was like, I'm going to have to buy some books. Like, I don't have the books that I want to read at home, and I haven't really gone lately and bought a lot of new books. I bought a couple here and there at Half Price Books, and I actually have a coupon, my birthday coupon. I think it's like 25% off your total sale, which is really good. Might even be 50, I don't know. Half Price Books has great sales all the time. They have this once a year thing or twice a year thing that my friend told me about that they do at the state fairgrounds, where it's like they have all the books and it's like this huge sale, but I've never been to it. I've always wanted to go. But anyway, I'm probably going to be buying some books in the next week. I have a hard time, like, there's new books that I want to read, but the thing that's hard about that, there's one book that everybody keeps on telling me to read, and so I'm going to put it on my, it's 5 words exactly, because one of the challenges is to read a book that's 5 words or more. I'll pull it up here and tell you what it is. But it's about it has a non-binary character in it, and I really want to read this book. I heard this book was fantastic. The cover's like the two of them on the cover together, and it's like a cartoon drawing of them. But anyway, that's new, and I'm going to buy that. And I'm also trying to figure out, like, which ones I'm going to read and which ones I'm going to listen to on Audible. That one I think I'm actually going to read. So I'm going to get the copy of that. I haven't figured out everything yet. But then, like, one of my books is a book that I got for my vacation, and I never finished it. The Wife Between Us, or The Woman Between Us. The Wife Between Us, The Woman Between Us. I think I'm going to read that for one of the challenges, so I already have that. And then I'm going to do the Anne Frank Diary. I think I'm going to do that for one of them, too. My eyes are tired tonight. But yeah, like, if you don't, and if you don't know how to find a library in your area and you want to use the library, or if you don't know about the online programs and things like that, you actually, now I will tell you that I think you have to go to your library first, get a library card, and then, or, you know, profile or whatever, and then you can use the app, but you have to have that first, I believe. I don't think that you can just do that all from home, or I think you have to actually go into a library for the first time, but I could be wrong about that. And if you're homebound, I know there's a lot of people that are homebound, there are also traveling library programs that you can sign up for. Like, most major cities have them. I mean, if you live out in the middle of nowhere, they probably don't, which I wish they did. But a lot, like, I know that, like, Marion County and Indianapolis, they have a traveling library that you can, like, put books on hold and they'll deliver to you and things like that. And so yeah, libraries might be one of the great last free programs that are out there, you know. Like I said, I really hope that they don't ever go away. But I have to say that every time I go to the library, they're packed. So I have a hard time believing that they'll go away. I mean, probably not in my lifetime. Oh, yeah. So what did I do? I made videos today, and then the reason I went to Meijer was I bought these, I can't find a hose in our garage, and so I wanted to have a hose to be able to water my plants on my front and my back. I can't figure out how to turn the water thing on in the back, but in the front I can. So I could not turn it. I didn't even realize I was at the end. I could not turn it. So Alex finally went out there with some like a wrench or pliers or something. A wrench, not pliers. And he finally got it turned on for me. And then I plugged in my hose, or I had already screwed it on, and then watered all my plants in the front yard. All my plants on the front patio are not doing as well as my plants in the backyard, on the back patio. My plants and flowers on the back patio are like beautiful. Like, they are doing so well. These ones, I don't know what they are. They're the ones that are kind of like, not viney, but kind of like that, and they have like pink flowers on them. They're gorgeous, but you see them literally everywhere in the summer. Like, everybody has them. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, when I bought them from Meyer, they were like almost dead, and they are in perfect condition now, and I've taken such good care of them. Back in the day, my stepmom, she used to always have like tons and tons and tons of flowers and plants around the pool and the yard and stuff like that. So like my job when I was in high school would be to go around, and she'd say, I want you to take the hose, because it's so hot in the summer and it's so humid in Indiana. She'd say, I want you to go and I want you to take the hose and go to each plant and fill the water all the way up to the very top of the plant, even if it looks like it's going to come over, that's fine, and then move on to the next plant. So you're literally like drenching it with water, right? And I was like, okay. Oh, by the way, I have absolutely no idea who those people are that were walking last night. I still don't know. And I've asked so many people today, but last night I was getting out of my car when I got home, and my neighbor, she had some friends over, because it was her birthday, and they were like walking back over there. And I said, do you have any idea why these people, I said this one girl, she was so nice. I said, do you have any idea why these people were like walking up and down the side of the road? She was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was like, I don't. It was craziest thing. You guys literally, I mean, I don't even know. I can't even begin to tell you how many people I saw. But there were people that were walking alone. And then there were people that were walking in like 2s and 3s and 4s. Not really any more than that. But then what was so bizarre was that they were like walking up and down the street. And it was only from like, probably I would say like a 5-mile radius. Maybe more. They had huge backpacks on. They looked like they had hiking outfits on, like shorts and t-shirts, and they all had the lamps on their head. And most of them were carrying these jugs of water, and they would stop, like, I'm driving by where it happened last night. They would stop on the side of the sidewalk, and then you just see them sitting there in like groups of people, like 3 and 4, and then they get up and they'd walk make it down to this point. And the reason I'm bringing this up, because somebody said, is Prairie still there? Prairie is still here. I'm about to pass it here on the left. It's bigger than it ever was. It's a Prairie settlement, and somebody said in the comment sections, they said, I used to go there when I was a kid for field trips. So did I. I've talked about it on here before. It was like, I loved it, although I had this very sad experience when I went there, and I was, well, I'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, when I was all by myself and I had nobody to sit next to at the field trip, which was always the story of my life. But these people were all like sitting out here last night. It looked kind of fun, honestly. I was kind of like, what are they doing? Like, this is something that I could actually do. I did pass some people that had all of that on that were running. I almost wondered if it wasn't like a National Guard training or something, because I looked everywhere and there was no like 5K run, and it wasn't that many people. It was literally probably, I mean, in all honesty, 25, 30 people max. Maybe more. Maybe 30, 35. Maybe 30, 35 max. But it was like from here, and then it was north. And then some were walking this way, and some were walking back the other way. It looked like they were walking from some point to like where Prairie is, and then they were turning around and walking back. I have no idea what it was, you guys. It's crazy. So, yeah, I don't know what that was. But anyway, so my stepmom had me go around in the summer, and she would have me like water all the plants that way. And oh my God, she had bougainvillea, and she had just gorgeous, gorgeous plants, you know, and flowers. And I would just saturate these things with water every single day. Like every single day I had to do it unless it rained. And they never got like too watery or, you know, whatever, or too drenched in water. I don't know if I overwatered these plants on the front porch, or Alex thinks it's because they're in total direct sunlight, even though they're under the patio, like the sun shines more on them. But like this one plant that I have, I mean, it literally overnight looked dead. And I was like, my phone, somebody's texting me. And I was like, what happened? Like with this plant, like it's so sad. It's a gorgeous plant. The other ones, my zinnias are kind of lasting, but like, I can tell that I'm going to have to really just soak the hell out of them with water, you know? So anyway, crazy, isn't it? We've had a really hot summer the last 2 weeks, so right now it's 75 degrees outside. We've had it be like, I mean, that's just kind of the Midwest in the summer anyway, but the last couple weeks it's been you know, like 80s and 90s. Like today it was like in the 90s. I cannot believe I still have not, like, I've been outside a lot and stuff like that, but I haven't really like gone to the pool and been able to like hang out and swim at the pool and stuff like that. So what was I gonna say? So yeah, about the plants, I can't figure it out, but I'm not gonna buy any more plants. There's no point. But I did buy the plants that I bought for inside the house are doing great, like Alex's little succulents. I think I want to buy some more of those and have them around the house though. They're so cheap too. They're only like a couple dollars and they're so cute and so pretty. And then the plant that I've had behind me for a long time, of course, it's just growing great. And then the other one I bought and I put in that planter, and I like watered it today and it's doing great. It's like an ivy plant. So, yeah. I'd like to get some plants for the bedroom, but there's not like a whole lot of light in there. Oh, that was the other thing. Alex and I sat down today, and so we hadn't got a new counselor yet. So we went through some names that had been suggested to us, and I'm gonna call on Monday and set up that appointment. And things are going really well between us, but you know, we were just like, it's been a month and a half now, I think, since we saw our counselor, since he, you know, closed his practice down. And so it's like, we're kind of like, okay, do we want to do this? Do we not want to do this? So we both agreed today. We like had to talk about it. And we're like, yeah, let's go back and start like every other week, like where we were at. And then we'll kind of go from there and see how we feel, like if we need it, if we don't need it, or whatever. We both agree that it's really helpful to our relationship. We don't feel like we're at a point now, because we've gone a while without having it, that we necessarily need it, like to lean on, which has been good that we actually didn't have it for a while. But we're still both sad, because it's like, we kind of wish we could have just kept with him forever, because he was such a great guy. So he gave us some suggestions to some people, and then some other friends of ours gave us some suggestions of people that they see. So we looked him up, and we kind of made some decisions about that. Then we also made some decisions about San Diego, about the dates that we're going to go. We had a little house meeting tonight. And then we also started making some decisions about furniture and what we want to do with the bedroom upstairs. And Alex like started this photo album that we're sharing, where we like have ideas for what we want the bedroom to look like and stuff like that. So we're kind of narrowing it down for what we want that to look like, so we can maybe start working on the bedroom. Yeah. And what else? And then I filmed videos, and then I sat on the patio after I watered all the flowers for a second and relaxed, and just kind of looked at my phone and stuff. And then we went to dinner with Melissa and Jason. We had such a blast. It was so much fun. And then, like I said, we went over to their house afterwards and did that. We were going to watch another movie on the patio tonight, but that didn't happen. It was just kind of a relaxing day and night. It was nice. And then tomorrow we're going to go to brunch. And then we're going to go to we were going to go to this Z Gallery place today. We didn't end up going there, so we'll probably go there tomorrow. And it's actually right up close to where I'm at right now. But it's closing down, and I think everything's like 60 to 80% off, or 70 to 80% off or something. So we're going to go there. They might not have anything left, but it might be nice if they did, then we could just get that, you know, and have it over there. And, yeah. Yeah. Somebody shared with me that there is a Crime Junkies podcast or something that's from Indianapolis. It's these women that are from, I did not know that there was one that was local here. I'm going to have to start listening to that. Although, since I've started listening to podcasts, I have not had as much time to listen to my audiobook, which has not been great. I have to finish the Pines book, and I have to finish it like tomorrow, because, and I think I have less than 3 hours left, which I've had like 3 hours left for the last week, or a couple days, but I have to finish it, because this week I have to listen to Zombie, or I keep on calling it Zombie. This week I have to listen to Zodiac and get it done, because the following week, starting a week from tomorrow night at midnight, is Reading Rush. And I don't want to go into Reading Rush having books that I'm reading currently. Like, I want to have the books done. And so this week is my week to really read a lot of like the supermarket reads, as well as get Zodiac done, and Pines, the Pines book. I would love to get the Zodiac book done and then be able to finish the third Pines book in the series before Reading Rush starts, but I don't think that that'll probably happen. And then I'm about to start, I think I'm going to start, I really need to finish Grace and Frankie, but I'm just really not in the mood to finish it. But I think before I start another show, I need to finish Grace and Frankie. And I do know that, what's its name is coming on. Orange is the New Black. And I'll probably binge watch that. So I guess I'll finish Grace and Frankie this week. And then I would like to watch Orange. I would like to watch You and get that done. So maybe I'll binge watch that over the course of a couple days. I think it's only 8 episodes. If it's only 8 episodes, I'll watch that. Maybe like 2 a day over the course of 4 days. And then have that done. Listen to me planning out my life. See, this is the problem. I'm always so planned. But I don't care. It's fun. That way I get more stuff done. I'm happy that I'm like actually listening to podcasts and reading a lot this summer and watching a lot of shows and stuff. Like I'm having so much fun with all of that. Oh my God. Okay, so today, one of the, I need some lip gloss. One of the, my lip gloss is popping. Popping. One of the challenges for the Reading Rush is to read a book that has been adapted. It's like a book to movie adaptation, a book that's been adapted into a movie, and then read the book and watch the movie. Well, I Googled all of these books to movie adaptations, and I was like the best ones. I think I talked about this last night, and they're like really long, a lot of them, and I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, okay, Peter, just do Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, because then you can just, you'll get that one done, and then you'll only have, that'll be my, I think that's the 5th one, then I'll only have 2 more after that to finish the series, because I think I have 3 books left to finish the series. 4, 5, 6, 7, yes. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Goblet of Fire. Which one am I forgetting? It doesn't matter. I meant to get a Diet Coke at McDonald's. I'm pissed because I know this McDonald's up here is closed. Have I read 3 or have I read 4? Chamber of Secrets is number 2. Goblet of Fire is 4. What is the 3rd one? Oh, Prisoner of Azkaban. So I've read those 4, and then I have to read The Order of the Phoenix, and then I don't know what the last 2 are after that. Dark Prince or something like that. Okay, so I get on today cable, you know, because we have like every channel in the entire world. We get all the free channels with it, or all the free movies with it. So I'm going through the free movies because I wanted to see what they had that was free. Well, first of all, every Harry Potter movie, every Star Wars movie is free. So you can go watch all those. And then, okay, are you ready? Literally every shark movie in the entire world, all the Jawses, and then all these Shark Attack movies, Shark Attack this, Shark Night, Shark Week, all these shark movies, right, are up there. And what's the Deep Blue 1, the Deep Blue 2, all these, okay. All those cage diving movies, anyway, all those kinds of shark movies are on there. Then I'm looking, right? Okay, Goonies, Showgirls. What else was on there? Adventures in Babysitting. Some of my favorite movies of life. I know, Showgirls, but anyway. But some of my favorite movies of life are literally on free. I mean, I literally was going through there and I was like, oh my God, Alex, all these classics. Born Yesterday. What was the other classic that was on there that I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe these movies are on here. And it was just Gone with the Wind is on there. It was just literally just like one after another after another. All of these like fantastic, all the John Grisham movies are on there. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to do Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I have to go see how long it is. If it's super long, I'm probably not going to do that one. And then watch the new version of it, which I haven't heard great things about, but whatever. Or I'm going to read a John Grisham book and watch the movie. But a lot of them I've already seen. There was one on there. But I don't know that I even care, like, if it's a reread, even though I said all this stuff about rereading books last night, because I don't really remember a lot of these John Grisham books. I don't think I've read The Rainmaker. I think that's the one that I haven't read, that the movie was on there. But there were a couple other movies that I wrote down, too, that I had never seen. And then Alex actually gave me an idea for one. He was like, you know, you should read blah, blah, blah. I can't remember what it was. I used to always put The Lightning Thief on there, but I've never, like, I know people love Rick Riordan or whatever his name is. I just don't know that I can get into that. I'm not a big fantasy person. So there are, like, some really great free movies on cable right now. There's so many. I can't remember what the other ones were that I saw on there. I couldn't believe it. I literally just went through there and I was like, oh my God, it was just like one after another, after another, after another, after another. Alex was laughing so hard because I kept on shouting it out. Well, I love The Goonies. It's like one of my favorite movies ever. Adventures in Babysitting, I love that movie. My throat is kind of hurting tonight. I don't know why. Probably from talking too much at dinner, talking too much at Jason and Melissa's, talking too much on videos today, talking too much in my vlog. Story of my life, talking too much. What was I gonna do? I was gonna pull over and look up something. Now I can't remember what it was I was gonna look up. Was it a book? Oh yeah, it was that book that I was gonna read for Reading Rush. Oh, well, you have to come watch my TBR and figure it out. I got my hair cut yesterday. What do you think? She left it a little bit longer. She's like, I really like how it's laying down. Let's leave it a little bit longer. And I said, okay. So Connor Prairie. Connor Prairie is I think I just shared something about this not too long ago in here. But Connor Prairie is a like 1800s prairie settlement. Okay. So when I was a kid, it was not too far from where I lived. When I was a kid, like when I was growing up, I went there on field trips, like one, I think, or two. I don't know how many, but I remember going. And I like had nobody sit next to it this whole thing. But my mother and I, we would go out there too, like at Halloween time. One year at Halloween, we went and now they do it every year, but the first year we actually went the first year and it was the coolest, and it was The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. They do it so differently now. If you live in Indianapolis and you've been to Connor Prairie at Halloween, it's so different than how they used to do it. Back in the day, you could like walk through the whole town. So, okay, they have like a museum, but then they actually have the settlement town that like existed back then, and they've preserved it, right? So they have like Mr. Connor's house. And at the winter time, like, you can go in there and have a meal and stuff like that. It's supposed to be really, really fun. So anyway, but at Halloween time, they do The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and they show The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the cartoon by Disney. They show it on this huge screen out back, and you can get apple this and apple that, and all these kind of like, you know, cookies and kettle corn and all this kind of stuff. Tons of people go, tons and tons of people. But you can't walk through the town anymore. Back then you could. When I went, and there would be like a fire pit, and this guy would be like telling ghost stories around this fire pit, like some old guy, you know. And then they would be like, everybody would wait for this hayride, and the hayride would go into the woods, and then the headless horseman would ride up next to you, and he'd like grab at you and stuff like that. And it was actually a guy on a horse, and he would like come and try to get you, and people be in the woods, and it was real scary, you know, kind of for families and kids. It wasn't really that scary, but I loved it. I loved going there for that, right? And then it must have been the first Halloween Alex and I were together, because Tanya and I, and Tanya's son Nick, and Alex and I and our two friends, we all went out there, and it was the same. You could walk around and everything. It was great. It was wonderful. And then they changed it, and I don't know why they changed it. I don't know if it's because so many people started coming or what, but now you can't do that. Now literally you can go and get the food, and then you can like and watch the movie, and then you can get on the hayride. It's just a hayride is what it is now. I don't know. Anyway, they've really kind of bougied up the whole museum and the settlement and stuff. And maybe they just don't want people walking around the settlement as much. But when I was a kid, I mean, we went to that whole thing, and I remember on a field trip and everything. And when I came home, like I wanted, and I just talked about this on here not too long ago, I wanted to be a prairie person. You guys got such a kick out of this when I was talking about this. This is the true story how I was as a kid, okay? It wasn't just Prairie stuff. I mean, I went through about every era that you could possibly go through, okay? I mean, I went through an era where I had to have a tuxedo. Like, I had to have a tuxedo. And I would wear that tuxedo for, I would say, okay, mother, we're gonna dress for dinner. And I would, seriously, okay? And she found me some little used tuxedo somewhere. And I would say, tonight we're gonna get dressed for dinner, mother. And we would, like... And then she taught me, like, how to, like, you know, use the good silverware and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I don't know. That was from when I started watching, like, old, like, Fred Astaire movies and stuff. I loved Fred Astaire. One year I went as Fred Astaire for Halloween. Okay, so anyway, I became very obsessed with all of those old movies like that. But when we went to Conner Prairie Settlement, like, I came home and I wanted to be, like, a Prairie person. And I think we didn't have any electricity for, like, we didn't watch any TV or anything. I was like, we have to read by candlelight, and we're gonna eat beans, and we just had, like, beans and cornbread for, like, a week. Ham and beans, because that's what they would make at the Conner Prairie place. And what do you call it? And lots of cornbread. Of course, Jiffy cornbread in the electric oven. We didn't worry about all that. But anyway. I was obsessed with that place. You can make candles and do all kinds of stuff. What's so funny about this is that, okay, so when Alex and his mom and brothers moved here, they went there too. And Alex was like 12 at the time, right? When he moved here. So they went to Conner Prairie for, like, just for the day or whatever. Brothers. If you've ever been to these, like, reenactment things, like, the people that work there, like, they really get into it, okay? Caroline's son, David, like, he really wanted my uncle to work there. He used to beg his poppy. He'd be like, please go work at Conner Prairie. Please go work at Conner Prairie. Cracks me up now thinking about my Uncle Dave working at Conner Prairie. He would probably never. But anyway, what is it about, like, our obsession with wanting to be a Prairie person? A lot of us. I don't know. So anyway, Alex went out there, and, you know, he doesn't understand that this is, like, not real world, right? And so, the guy's like, you know, Sonny, if you lived here, you could churn butter and, you know, make candles with me, and then you could live in the Conner house and stuff. And he was like, really? And he was like, yeah, and you'd go to the schoolhouse with the other boys and girls, and you could write on a tablet. And Alex, like, turned to his mom in front of all these people. He's 12 at the time, mind you, okay? And he goes, can we please move here, Mom? Mom, can we please move here? And everybody laughed. They thought it was real funny. But he didn't think it was funny because he really wanted to move there. So basically, Alex and I got together for one thing. We both want to be Prairie people. My husband would die, okay? He would oh my God, I cannot believe I was at the end of it again. I did not know that. I'm just having so much fun talking tonight. My husband would die if he had to go without electricity and all this kind of stuff, okay? If he had to go without his phone. So, like, yesterday, I've been, like, going through periods of the day where I don't get on my phone. Like, I just, like, leave it, and I've kind of been forgetting where I put it. And so he said something to me about, like, I texted you, and I go, yeah, I haven't had my phone on me for, like, the last 2 hours. He's like, why not? And I said, I'm trying not to be on my phone all the time. And he just kind of looked at me. And I go, I just, like, I need to take a break from always being on my phone. Like, I love being on my phone. I love social media. I'm not going to be one of those people that's a hypocrite. Listen, I love it. I love all of it, okay? Not the toxic part of it, but, like, to look at the pictures and see the funny things and all that kind of stuff. I like that. I enjoy it, right? To be in the know. But it's somewhat too much. Like, I feel like so connected. It's almost like a belly button, you know? And so I've been, like, you know, I talked about it on the vlog, and then, like, I really started thinking about it, and I thought, like, I'm gonna leave my phone. Like, I don't need it all the time. Like, when I've been going in places, I haven't been taking it in with me. You know, it's like, well, what happens if I get in the store and then I need to look something up? Or what happens if this happens or that happens and I need my phone? I've been leaving my phone in the car. I don't really care. And I'm just, you know, it just is not that serious to me anymore. I just don't want to have my phone on me 24 hours a day. I just don't like it, you know? I'm good about it when I go to bed at night. I like come upstairs, plug it in, and that's the last time I look at it, and then I go do my, like, nighttime ritual and all that kind of stuff, which I haven't been doing as much as I need to, but I've been doing it more recently. So anyway, but I have been doing my morning ritual in the mornings. So what was I going to say about the Prairie people thing? Oh yeah, my husband wouldn't make it real far. It's funny because, you know, a couple years ago, I read this book called, I think it's called 1 Second After, or 1 Minute After. There's a sequel. So I feel like the first one's called 1 Second After, and the second one's called 1 Minute After. And, but I might be wrong. But somebody sent me the sequel to it, and I never read it. And I need to. Hold on a second. And I need to read it, and it's about what would really happen, like, somebody actually in the, God, my back is killing me, hold on a second. Somebody in the, like, the Senate or the House or something like that said it was really important that we read this book. Like, everybody should read this book. It's like the introduction to the book, because this is actually what would really, really happen if we had, like, nuclear warfare, which is interesting, okay? Because when you read the book, it's about a small town on the East Coast that, like, borders, like, a college town, but it's like a farm town, kind of. It's kind of like a small country town out in the middle of nowhere, and everybody knows each other and all this kind of stuff, right? What's interesting about it is, so this, like, war happens. It's in today's time. But what happens is, when the bombs go off, like, in this certain atmospheric level, I didn't even know that these kind of bombs existed. And it's, like, truly, like, they do exist. They literally kill anything that has the need for electricity or a battery or anything. Is it, like, focused? And so, everything that has electricity, everything that has a battery, anything that has anything like that, it literally, like, takes it out like that, okay? Well, you think about it, and you think, like, that's not that big of a deal, okay? But, like, one of the big issues that they deal with is medicine. The refrigeration of medicine, okay? How long medicine will stay safe to use. They talk about, like, people that have, like, pacemakers. People that have, what do you call it? The pumps. Oh, shoot. The insulin pumps. Okay, so all this stuff stops you working. So you're talking about somebody that has diabetes that is going into diabetic shock because they don't have, or whatever, because they aren't getting insulin because it stops working. I mean, this is literally like, and it's very, very real. Like, people are dying left and right, okay? And it's so sad. I mean, it's to the point where people can't keep their pets alive. And so, like, if they can't keep them alive and there's no food, like, what do you think they do? And, I mean, it's, like, very, 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 very realistic. It bothered me. I don't know if I listened to it on Audible or I read it. I can't remember. I think I listened to it on Audible. But it was just really interesting and kind of scary, too. Like, you know, I think we think, like, the looting and all that kind of stuff would happen, and then, like, that would be the worst of it. But that, like, that happens, and everybody's houses are looted, and then they kind of establish some kind of government. They reestablish a government, like, within that town. I gotta listen to the sequel of that. That first one was so good. I should listen to the sequel of it. I honestly don't remember the first one that well, though. It's been a couple years. I think it's called 1 Second After, and then the next one's called 1 Minute After. But, like, literally every world government is gone. Like, boom, like that. And this is not science fiction. Like, this is how it will really be if it happens. It's called some kind of warfare. I don't know what it is called, but it's really interesting when you read this book. Scary interesting that could happen. And basically, within the matter of, if you think about our world, okay? Cars, no cars, they would stop because the batteries would be dead, right? Electric cars would be dead. If you think about everything, every light, like, even in the book, they talk about how dark it is, like, at night. Like, we don't realize how much, like, even when, like, if there weren't any lights out here and I didn't have lights in my car, which would be scary enough, right? But then, like, okay, that light that we see from over there, like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of like light up there. Like, that's actually from, like, the city, right? Like, that's not just from the moon, that's from the city. So when you all of a sudden have no electricity anywhere, you realize how truly dark it is, right? And then food goes bad. All these people have this food that is, like, literally going bad left and right. They can't keep it good enough. There's no ice. There's no cold water. I can't remember what else there was in there. There were some things that you were like, oh my God, I never would have thought about that. Well, literally when it happens, there's an interstate right by, okay? So there's this mass pileup on the interstate because literally just boom, 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 boom. All these cars just stop working immediately. Planes are falling from the sky. There's no television news. There's no way to communicate television, okay? Or radio, or any kind of news whatsoever. And they do get a car working. I can't remember. It was like, oh, there were some cars that would work if they were like, this one guy has a car and it's like like 1950. And so that car will work because it has a different kind of battery or something in it. I can't remember, but they have like one car in the town. And because he goes up to the college university to try to find out what they know. But it's so crazy to think like we could like literally within a blink of an eye go right back to like, you know, to a time that we don't even any of us know. We were none of us here, you know? Think about that. And we wouldn't even know what it would be like. It's so crazy. It hasn't been like that, you know, forever. I remember watching the movie Signs, and somebody said, and I think my mom was still alive, and said like, you know, what would you do? And I was with my ex at the time, like, if that happened here, and you knew like that they were coming and there was gonna be world devastation. And I was like, I think I would load up my car, you know, with my mom. Go get my mom, and then, you know, like with my boyfriend at the time, and then we would just go leave and go take off to somewhere out in the middle of nowhere and just live in some like abandoned house or whatever, right? But that's assuming, first of all, that I could have gotten the 20 minutes to my mom's house in the middle of this total catastrophe world that's happening, number one. Number two, that I could have gotten out of Indianapolis, which is pretty metropolitan, to get to a place where nobody knows anything or is anywhere near a town, which quite frankly in Indiana doesn't exist. There's no place like that in Indiana, really. Is there country out in the middle of places? Yeah, but like I don't know that you could walk in any one direction 10 or 20 miles without coming across somebody. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you're talking about having to go to some really kind of out in the middle of nowhere place. Where would that be anymore? Do we even have that where you would just be away from everybody and everything, you know? That was always like the part of like The Walking Dead that was like the most interesting to me. And whenever I watch those, I love, if you guys have any great suggestions for dystopian books and things like that, like I love to read those. Especially ones that happen like right as all this stuff is going down. I really like reading those. The Rhiannon Freighter As the World Dies series is so good. If you like zombies and you like End of the World books, listen to me. Rhiannon, like the song by Fleetwood Mac, Rhiannon Freighter, because I know I'm not going to remember to link it. Freighter, F-R-A-T-E-R. Here, get your pen out. Pause it here. Rhiannon Freighter, F-R-A-T-E-R, As the World Dies series. There's 3 books in the series. They are so good. And she is a phenomenal woman. And I like followed her. I don't think I follow her anymore. I followed her for a while on Twitter, and she and I talked a little bit, and she ran this podcast about that iZombie show. She's really neat, but those books were so fantastic. Oh my God, I loved them so much. I saved the last one, actually, because I didn't want the series to end. She's written a bunch of other books, too, but I didn't want the series to end. I was so into them. Yeah. I love reading that kind of stuff. It's scary, though, to think about, you know? It's like just looking over here, there's like all these lights, right? Like if they were just like, boom, to go off. Have you guys ever been in like a blackout, not like a drinking blackout, but like a blackout in your city? I feel like I have, but like maybe only once ever in my life. I don't know. I was talking so much and then I just kind of stopped, didn't I? Didn't I? I was thinking in my head. I actually bought some new books on Audible. I don't remember what I got now. Oh, I know what I did. I Googled books like Stranger Things. Because I miss Stranger Things now that I finished it already. So I got in there and I Googled like books that are like Stranger Things. And well, I had read a lot of the books. One was It by Stephen King. I haven't read it, but I saw the movie. Both versions. Then I think they're coming out with the sequel this year, aren't they? It's the second part of it. And then another one was Edgar Cantero's Meddling Kids, which I read. I did not love it. I probably talked about it on here because I didn't read it too long ago. And I would say that is kind of a little bit like Stranger Things, but not so much. It's more like Scooby-Doo. Honestly, it is. And then what else was on that list? Oh my God, Boy's Life by Robert McGavin. That's one of the best books I've ever read. And I wouldn't want to reread it because it's so specific. And it's about this kid. He goes like through like Mississippi and what's that area called down there? I can't think. We're like like the backwoods of Mississippi. And he's like trying to find out like who he really is, like somebody about his family or whatever. And he comes in contact with all these different people. That book is so great. And I read that years and years and years ago. And I can remember when I just finished it, I just was like, it's a long book too. And I was like, this is one of the best books I've ever read. But I can remember like, I can see myself sitting outside somewhere reading it. And I read it like 20 years ago. But that was such a great book. That was on there. And I tried to read a couple of his other books, Robert McGavin, but I couldn't really get into a lot of his books. But I thought he was a lot like, who's the guy that I like that wrote Endless Night? Richard Lehman. But they're kind of different. Robert McGavin is more serious. He's written a lot of books. Some of them are about vampires and all that kind of stuff. But I think I read one other book of his, and I have actually another book of his on my Audible that I bought because it was for sale, and I was like, oh, I want to read another one of his. I think it's called Gone South, actually, and it's about this man and this woman that are like being chased, and they're like on the run, and it like goes to South too. His books are very gritty and raw, and I really like them because they're very vulnerable. So yeah. I can't wait till brunch tomorrow. I don't know why, I just can't. With that being said, I'm gonna get off here. I think I'm gonna listen to my audiobook for a little bit. So I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, don't. Enjoy your day. Don't have other plans. Make the most of your day. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Do something that you're gonna really enjoy today. Do something that at the end of today, when you look back on it and you're laying in bed thinking about all the best moments of the day, if you're doing like the Magic Rock and the Gratitude or the Magic Book, when you look back onto today, if you're watching this Sunday, you think about all the great things that happened today, all the big and small things, all the different things you tried, how much fun Sunday was. That's what you want to make of it. And if nobody else has told you, so you want to make the most out of your Sunday, do you get it? Or whatever day you're watching this. Because life is short and it's not a dress rehearsal. You're trading a day of your life for today when you're watching this, or tomorrow if you're going to bed. So it's a good way to wake up. Tomorrow, wake up and say, today I am trading a day of my life for this. I used to know that thing by heart, but I don't know what it is anymore. Today is a new day. But I don't know that thing by heart. So anyway, but you're trading a day of your life for today. So, and truly you are. So make the most of it. You owe it to yourself to do something phenomenal with your life. If you remember when I told that story on here. But I got that from an NPR little story from thestory.org. Okay, and if nobody, this is going off on a tangent. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Look at yourself in the mirror every single day and say, I love you. And feel worthy, feel valued, feel validated, feel important because you are. And make sure to pass it on to somebody else. Say it out loud. Get used to the words. It's important. We're afraid of those words sometimes to say to somebody else, I love you. We're so afraid of that. And, yeah, I love you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Love you.